Namaste, Jai Bharat. There are many religious concepts, but then there's a problem. They have one name. Religious concepts have similar names, but they differ drastically in particularly this two tradition, Bharatiya Dharma and Semitic religions. It's interesting and at times very interesting. For instance, Hindus don't understand the idea of God fearing. In Semitic tradition, Semitic mind, this God fearing is often spoken as a credit. See, if you look at the matrimonial matrimonial advertisements classified, we come across God fearing girl or God fearing boy. Hindus will never understand why should a person fear God, because we don't have the concept of God fearingness. Then another common interesting thing is that Semitic tradition people believe that after death they go to heaven. Hindus are confused. They know that they just can't go to heaven. Hindus are supposed to know that after death it is moksha, and attaining moksha is different from getting into heaven. Heaven we just can't go because heaven is Devaloka. There we are not supposed to go. Nor are we permitted to go. Same is the case with hell. We have Naraka concept, but there also we can't go because Naraka is Naraka because of lawlessness and such things. Where might is right. Might is right. This other thing is that liberation or moksha and salvation or atonement, they have drastically different concepts. Normally, salvation comes through the infinite mercy of God. Islam, when it comes to Islam, there is a Bismillahi Rahimani Rahim. Without the Rahmat kind of thing, you just can't get salvation. That we Hindus can't understand, because for Hindu, moksha is attained. God has no role to play. Generally, God has no role to play in many things. God has no role to play in attaining moksha. That is something which is attained or earned. Attaining moksha, attaining liberation is what is said. So you attain it purely by your effort. There is no infinite mercy of a transcendental God. In fact, the God is not transcendental. Our concept of deities, which may appear to be akin to God, which are not the case, are not transcendental. So this many confusions. Now, I was thinking why this God-fearing thing is intensely taught in all Semitic traditions. Now I understand. They have to be God-fearing because the people, there are many people in Europe and others, they do such nefarious things with political existence. They intervene in the politics of many other countries. Now there is a story of the deep state, there are deceptions, they create narratives, they create stories, and they would like someone else to do something. They would like someone else to do something. And look at the Hamas, for instance, or the Hezbollah, or the Houthis, or anyone like that, or the deep state. They are, poking their nose where unwanted as well, and trying to manipulate things happening according to their whims and fancy. And I don't know why they do such things. They are supposed to be God-fearing, but then are not really God-fearing. They are supposed to be God-fearing, but then they act like Hindus. They don't care. They don't bother. They continue doing their business of intervening with others. Look at Bangladesh. All on a sudden there are some thoughts, some narratives, and some people are just pushed, instigated into acting something like that, and a democratically elected government has gone to dogs. The democratically elected Prime Minister, who is still Prime Minister, is in exile. And they don't want someone to win, and they don't want someone to lose. Look at the elections in Bharat. They were desperate. This deep state kind of people and such people are desperate that Modi ji should not come in power, because if Modi ji is in power, you just can't have your ways with Bharat. You don't get a puppet here. We have our own say and we do work. We do our work. Not at your instance, not according to whims. So they don't want him to come in power. Externally, peripherally, they speak all good things, but from behind the curtain they do. Behind the curtain, so many people do so many things. Say one thing and just do exactly the opposite. Well, this is deception. Such people should fear God. Such people should fear God. We don't have to fear God. Any one of us doing it because you can say that this, being a Hindu, is involved in such things, then the point is that he need not be afraid of God. He is now taught to be fearing God, but at the same time, the 70 people are taught to be afraid of God, and yet they do it. So they have to be God fearing. They have to be God fearing. Otherwise, they'll keep doing this. In spite of them being God fearing, they do all these things as though they will never die. Given they believe after death, you will have to show your face to your whichever God concerned, and then you will have to be ashamed of yourself for doing so many things, and they have such wonderful punishments waiting for them after judging them to be either to be sent to heaven, hell, whatever it is. Incidentally, that judgment day has not come except for the jihadis. Jihad is very smart. If you die in jihad, then you will not wait for the day of judgment. What a great innovation with the theology. If you die in jihad, you don't have to wait for the day of judgment. You will straight go to heaven with all the 72 hoods and wines and all kind of things. So they're very smart. They've changed the theology. But others will not wait. So that's another story. So practically, since the day of judgment did not take place, heaven and hell is supposed to be empty. But nonetheless, they're supposed to be afraid of God. And these people who are supposed to be afraid of God are involving in this deep state, into someone else's affair, making people, creating disturbances, which goes against peace, and yet they are really very vocal about peace, peacefulness. Coming to think of it, these days one gets afraid to hear someone speaking about peace. That Zakir Naik, the duplicate doctor, he is the one who speaks about his thing is called a Peace Foundation or something like that. Peace TV is something that he has. He is also after peace. You call him duplicate doctor because he took admission for MBBS somewhere in some countries, not in Bharat, and then could not complete it or did not complete whatever. Few years, 1 or 2 years he studied there, so he is not a doctor, so he claims to be a doctor. So people should be God fearing, I am telling you. The fearlessness is not necessary. In spite of the fact that people are supposed to be God fearing, these are the kind of things which is happening, which they are doing. Simple thing, they speak something and do something else and think entirely something different. This makes me say, Namaste, Jai Bharat and Jai Shri Ram.